Yeah, buddy. Quick bites.
You're very open about what you talk about with Corey Feldman.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to read you a comment here that someone left on our YouTube channel. His name is Touchdown Bundy. I have no affiliation with this guy.
Love the name.
So he says, 14-year-old Corey Feldman introduced 28-year-old Dominic Braja to 14-year-old Corey Haim. 18-year-old Scott personally delivered 15-year-old Corey Feldman to 24-year-old porn star Ginger Lynn. 12 to 13 years later, in 1999, Scott was in a movie called Torn that was written by and starred Ginger Lynn. He fed Feldman to a predator and later worked with her. This is similar to what he blasts Corey Feldman for. There's so much hypocrisy coming from this guy. He also claimed in another interview that it was not molestation because she was attractive and 15-year-old Corey wanted it. That's not how it works, Scott. It doesn't matter if the kid wanted to do it or never regrets it. The adult is always wrong in these situations.
It's a great question. The layout of ages and facts are wrong, so we can clear it up. We're talking August of 87. I'm in LA for 6 months. Corey Feldman is 16. I was 19. Okay. We had already met a couple times and whatever. And I was the only one who drove. He wasn't old enough to drive it. He's 16 plus. He called me up one afternoon, early evening. Let's make sure we get the timeline right. It's probably 6:15, whatever it was. He says, you need to drive me to the Comedy Store later. I have to meet up with Ginger Lynn, the adult actress. I said, okay, you're full of it. Because this was, a time Ginger was a vivid girl and she was at her prime and all that stuff. I thought he's full of beans. He's full of BS. He's like, no, really, dude, I need a ride. So basically, I became Uber driver of its time. Okay, fine. I said, dude, I got to see this for myself. I got to see it. I knew who she was. Okay, fine. So I drove him to the Comedy Store in LA on Sunset. We parked, go around the building to the back of the Comedy Store. Not in the building itself, just in the back walkway. And sure enough, there's Ginger and a few other people. Okay. Nice to meet you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We talked for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And I said to him, are you okay? Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much. I said, okay, goodbye. I'm out of here. I don't need to stay. That is the one and only time I drove him anywhere. Now, he's past puberty. He's had relations with other women. If his intent or her intent was to engage with him, that's not my business. Okay. From the being molested, I will give you me as an example. And this is actually the first time I'm ever saying this on a podcast because this is funny. I mean, it is what it is. I was 15 and a half years old. I made the pass at an older woman. She was in her early 20s, 23, 24. I got together with her. Now, if that's molestation, because of the age difference, then so be it. But I don't believe that because there's certainly no malintent of any kind. She wanted to hook up with him. He wanted to hook up with her. Great. And again, we're all looking at this now from the 2020 perspective, not the 1987 perspective. She was a gorgeous woman. He's a showbiz kid, 16 years old, a young adult, you want to call him, because he is past puberty and all of that. Molestation itself is somebody pre-puberty that gets taken advantage of by normally somebody of, in a man's case, same sex. This is not the definition of it at all. It's the only time I ever drove him. I told this story on 92 in Howard Stern, on Howard Stern, with him sitting next to me. He didn't argue. He didn't say, no, you're wrong. You have it mixed up. Didn't say any of that. You know what he said? Hey, Howard, can you play my music? Can you play my new song, man? That's what he said. That's what he wanted to promote. Okay. Howard played 20 seconds of it and was just like, oh, my God, dude. Really? And that was the last he played of his music. It's really funny. So the actual what happened, again, if you want to go by the book, so to speak, you have to go by the book from 87, not the book from 2020. And it certainly hasn't affected his life. He's had 3 marriages. He's had open marriages, you know, does what he does. I'm not saying any of that's wrong. It's the way he wants to live. God bless. Enjoy. Okay. But it hasn't affected his life in a negative way at all. And it didn't affect mine either. So, I mean, the football Bundy or whatever it was there. I mean, it's a great question, but he's also going by what the ages and story that Feldman has told, which is just not accurate.